Here I am. Hello, my tired ladies, and all my friends, and Bridget Donovan, and Laura from Gold Star Art, and can't remember, but you know who you are. Barbells and Beauty. Oh, my dog's barking. What? I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So my dog, she's very protective of the house, as we all know dogs to be like that. So I also wanted to, I know I've been talking a lot about James Charles and that whole situation. By the way, I'm very irritated that James Charles seems to have come up on top, and somehow Tati and Jeffree Star have been somehow, they've been the ones made to look like being the bad guy, and I just disagree. I think that's horrible. I don't like it. I think it's wrong. But in the meantime, so let's see if I can come up here a little bit. So there's a lot of blank wall space, isn't there? But the reason why I'm making this video is I wanted to kind of talk about where I've been, because I know there was quite a long time between, sorry, it's late at night. It's been a long lapse of time between like the last video I made and then the ones that I came back on regarding James Charles. And so just kind of wanted to talk about just like health related stuff, and maybe giving you guys some ideas about what to think about if you're on some kinds of medication and stuff. What happened with me is that, as I've mentioned, that I've been going through menopause, and with that, probably towards the beginning of the year, I was taking some stuff like an estrogen kind of thing, and it was really, it just ended, I mean, even though it took away my hot flashes and super tiredness and that kind of thing, because the hot flashes that I would have, especially at night, were really painful. It was causing some other things to happen that were just uncomfortable. Nothing dangerous or serious or anything like that, but it was just uncomfortable. So I've been trying to find, you know, some kind of a substitute for that, and probably my energy hasn't been as good, so that's part of it. But the biggest part of it probably has been, I take something called not Benadryl, Belsomra, which is a, if anybody's ever tried it, it's really, actually, it's been, here's the thing, it's a quandary for me, because I have a lot of trouble sleeping, falling asleep, not so much staying asleep, but falling asleep is like really big. I mean, I can go, literally, I can go for like 10 hours trying to fall asleep. And then I finally do fall asleep, and back before I got really sick, I'd finally fall asleep at like maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd have to be up like 4 hours later, and I was exhausted. So I've always had issues with my sleep. And so I've tried the prescriptions, you know, like the Nesta and Ambien, and they work temporarily, but I need something that's long-term. And the other part of it is I just didn't like the side effects of them, so I stopped taking them. And so basically I just use Benadryl, you know, but the extra thing that helps is, and my doctor put me on Belsomra, so I started taking it, and it was the first sleep medicine that actually really had made a significant difference. For me, it's not that it makes me sleepy. Sorry I'm yawning. I guess I'm talking about sleep, so it's making me yawn. But what it did is it made me less awake. So that's what Belsomra does. It doesn't like sort of wake up the sleepy thing. It makes you less awake. So the chemicals, whatever, that do that, and so yeah, and then what it does also is that I don't need to sleep as much, and when I wake up refreshed, because most of the time I would wake up feeling like I've been hit by a truck. So it's really significant, a huge difference. And so I had tried other, I mean, so then I wanted to try to take it. I think she gave me some samples to try, and that's when I realized it really worked. And I told her it worked, and I got a prescription for it to have it filled, and my insurance company doesn't cover it. It covers Ambien, it covers Lunesta, but I guess Belsomra is more expensive and maybe not used as much, and my insurance refused to cover it, and it's extremely, as usual, very expensive. So I've been living on the past year, maybe longer, on the goodness of my doctor, who supplies me with samples, because right now I can't get it, and that's a whole other thing of trying to finagle. We've tried to contact the insurance to let them know these other sleep medicines aren't working, but this one does, and you know how it is with insurance companies. It's all about the bottom line. They don't care about people. So anyway, in the meantime, until I can hopefully wrangle that out of the stingy hands of the insurance company, I'm relying on samples from my doctor. And what that means is that sometimes she runs out. And usually, or you know, of course I run out, because she doesn't, it's kind of like she gives me maybe about a month's supply, more or less, maybe less than that. And so what's been, you know, so right when I know I'm about to run out, you know, I let my husband know, because he does all that, picks it up for me. I can't really drive and stuff. So they usually leave it for him to pick up. And, you know, there have been a couple of days where I've had to wait, you know, just logistically. And that was fine. I didn't have any problems. This last time, this couple months ago, though, just because of miscommunication and this, that, and the other, I didn't get access to the Belsomra for about 6 days, something like that. And I have to tell you, they say, I looked it up on their information about withdrawal, like, you know, if you're not taking it with, what do they call it? I don't know. But anyway, the best way I could put it is say it is, it's withdrawal. And that had to be, even though they say there's no withdrawal symptoms, like if you don't take it on a regular basis, the worst, honestly, the worst withdrawal symptoms I've ever dealt with. And, you know, like, I take Tramadol for pain. It does not compare to what I went through with Belsomra. It was like, what it felt like to me was, I felt like I was going to faint. I felt like I was incredibly lightheaded, almost like I couldn't breathe or something, and I just constantly had to sit down. And, you know, it was so bad that usually what I'll do is if I'm having like a string of bad days, usually what I'll do is see if I can just at least get out. You know, it's never good to like stay inactive, right? So I always try to find ways to be active. So I love going to the thrift store. It's kind of like my safe place if I want to get out. Like, okay, I can handle mentally, I know I can physically handle going to the thrift store. So so I was like, okay, because usually even sometimes when I'm out and about, that helps me to kind of get some energy back. It's kind of a gauge for me. Like sometimes if I still feel horrible after the thrift store, then I know, okay, I just need to go back and rest some more. Or I might get a little bit of energy and I'm like, oh, okay, I feel good. So maybe that'll help start me back on having a little bit more energy. That's not the case with this. I go to the thrift store and I seriously feel like I was going to faint the whole time. I was terrified. I was petrified. I was like, you know, and normally I just go into the thrift store by myself and I'm fine. Or my husband waits in the car for me. This time I had to call him. I said, honey, can you come in here and just follow me because I'm afraid I'm going to pass out. And so, you know, again, you know, I'm trying to see like if maybe being active and walking around, maybe that'll kind of cause the symptoms to dissipate. It did not. It didn't do anything. That night, or maybe the day after, I needed to take a shower. And I use a shower chair because, you know, I can get a little lightheaded and, you know, I hate taking showers. So but just being able to sit there under the stream of the shower seems to help. And, you know, I guess, but it was so bad, the lightheadedness that never went away, that I had to ask my husband to stay outside the bathroom door while I was taking a shower because I was afraid I was going to pass out in the shower. And like I said, I've never dealt with that. It was horrible. It was the worst withdrawal or whatever it is that you want to call it. And when I told my doctor, she's like, oh, it's probably your fibromyalgia symptoms coming back, or is your sleep symptoms. I was like, no, I know the difference between my fibro symptoms and not being able to take this medicine. That's not what this is. This was because of the medicine. Because I know everything. If anybody out there knows, you know, when you have a chronic illness, you know everything. You know everything you put into your body. You know, like if there's something off, you know, like, oh, I forgot to take that thing, or, you know, or something like that, or I ate too much of that thing. You know, you're very, you know, focused on that. So I knew that it was not anything other than not being on the Belsomra. So finally I was able to get the supplements. They were able to work it out. And I tell you what, as soon as I took it that night, the next day, it was gone. Pretty much completely gone. It was like night and day. So this is the quandary that I'm in. Like I was saying, I can't stop taking it. I mean, I could eventually, I'm sure I could go deal with the withdrawal and, you know, wait for it to come out of my system. But it's so helpful for me. It is so it's crucial that I take it. And so it's kind of like a, you know, it's like kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because it really helps me with my sleep. But I'm still relying on samples, and now I'm in the middle of possibly changing my doctors. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but right now, all I know is that it really is super helpful, and unfortunately the withdrawals, it's okay for the first couple of days, but then after that it's horrible. So that's where I've been. I've been pretty much trying to, like I said, with the menopause stuff, and then with the whole Belsomra situation, just trying to get back on track. Just, you know, physically and mentally. And it just, wow, it just takes a toll. And it's unfortunate because, you know, it's like, the thing is, you know, of course you want to live your life. You want to have good quality of life. And it's frustrating when those things can interfere with, you know, things that you just want to do. And I really missed you guys. You know, I missed being able to upload videos and, you know, just do silly stuff. But, you know, hopefully at this point I'm doing better. And, yeah, I got to figure something out. I'm not sure what, but I got to figure it out. So anyway, that's where I've been. And it's good to be back. And I'm hoping to keep on, you know, uploading and hanging out with you guys. So that's what's going on. Right now I'm working on some birthday gifts for a friend of mine. We're going to hang out and stuff. She also has issues with her health, so it's nice to have her. But that's what's been going on. So I'll see you in the next situation.